Ladies and gentlemen, what the world has been waiting for, what the world needs now, the one, the only, amazing, original Johnny Blaze. Often imitated, but never duplicated. There's Johnny.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all to the original Johnny Blaze Show. It's great to be here as I blaze right in with my karate kick. Let's have a blazing hot fun time, ladies and gentlemen. Knock knock. Who's there? Social distancing. That's who. Then stop touching my door and stay 6 feet away from my house. And the quarantine continues. After 300 days stuck at home, I finally understand why my dog chews the furniture all day long. But seriously, there's nothing like relaxing on the couch after a long, hard day of watching TV on the couch. Well, because of the virus, we can no longer touch each other. We're also supposed to avoid touching our own faces. I've discovered that the best way to avoid touching your face is to keep a glass of red wine in each hand at all times. Barbershops and their salons are shutting down all over America because of this virus. No wonder it just keeps getting uglier and uglier out there. I'm not going to let this virus ruin my vacation plans. This weekend, my girlfriend and I will be going on an exciting romantic getaway. Well, it's called the living room floor. Two men wearing masks approached me at the bank today. They both pulled out guns and shouted, "This is a holdup. Give me all your money." I told them, "Thank you both for wearing masks. I'd rather be broke than catch the virus." Ladies and gentlemen, we have a blazing hot, fun, exciting show with a special guest. He's a multi-talented filmmaker and an editor, an aspiring voiceover actor. So please give a big, warm welcome to Karl James. Hey, how you doing there, Karl? Yeah, that's much better, Karl. How you doing there, my friend?
I'm doing great. The video is pretty choppy on your end. I'm not sure. Got some tech issues going on here.
Oh, I see. Well, we'll overcome that, Karl. Yeah, it's great to see you. Happy New Year to you. Anyway, tell me, you're a filmmaker. Tell me, how did you get into filmmaking, and tell me about your background. How did you get started?
Sure. Well, it started when I went to Florida State University. I graduated with a degree in communication and media production.
I see.
And after that, I moved to Los Angeles because that's what you do. You go to LA if you want to make it. That's where all the best experience is at,
Right.
and everyone knows that. And then I worked in post-production advertising for about 3 years for a company called Toy Box Entertainment. And we specialized in trailers and TV spots for all the big movies, and really got my core experience there in editing.
I see. Well, that's great. That's great. So what did you, were you wrapped up in filmmaking or editing, or I guess you did both, it sounds like. What was there about filmmaking and editing that you liked? Pardon me?
Well, as an editor, you're a filmmaker as well. I mean, when I was at Toy Box, I was primarily editing there, but outside of Toy Box, I was always working on a passion project, short films here and there, but it's tough. Making it in Los Angeles is not easy. And some things happened in my life where my mother got diagnosed with ALS, and I had to move to, thank you. And I had to move to Naples, Florida and help her and be with her. And I just recently got married a year ago. So I had to start thinking about a family. How am I going to survive in Los Angeles with the taxes and just how expensive everything is? And I really miss LA a lot. I have a lot of great memories. We have Jake Johnson with us here tonight. He's got some good memories to share. All three of us from Dimples.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait to talk about that.
I can't wait.
But yeah, today, I mean, my main job is to sell insurance, and that's what my steady job is. But
I see. When you sell insurance, what type of insurance are you selling? Life insurance or health insurance, or is there anything?
Auto, home, and life insurance, actually, all three.
Oh, really?
And it's a steady job, and that provides me with the money to be able to do the fun things like still be able to edit. I use Adobe Premiere. That's my editing platform of choice. And I still have the passion projects on the side, mostly family stuff at this point. I just got done working on a bereavement video, a funeral video for my grandmother who had passed away. Before that, I worked on a wedding video, and found that there's a need for that here. So I've been doing more of those.
I see. So are those your favorite things to do? Would you say those videos, filmmaking or editing, or is that your favorite? Or is there anything, what do you like about filmmaking?
Yeah, and with filmmaking in particular, I've done some short films. I love to direct. However, just being in that position, it kind of takes a lot of work to make something happen with a film. But when you're directing and producing it, you have your own creative control over it. And I like being my own boss. So I always said when I left Toy Box Entertainment, I didn't miss it because I was always under a boss. And I didn't like that. I like being able to control my own art and have creative control over the choices that go into it.
So you like to be independent. You like to do your own thing, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's great. That means you can create everything without anybody over. You can do your own creative projects.
Right. Right, exactly.
That's fabulous. Very, very good, Karl. Yeah. So you're doing insurance, okay, to keep yourself going, but you like to do the show. Tell me about what kind of favorite films do you have? Any particular favorite films that you have or you prefer working on? Like, do you prefer comedies or drama or horror or science fiction or anything?
Sure. I'm not sure if you can see it behind me, but I've got right back here the gates of Jurassic Park lit up in the background over here. And I've got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Two of my favorite films of all time, definitely Jurassic Park and Ghostbusters.
Well, those are great films. Oh yeah, Steven Spielberg is a great, phenomenal director.
Oh, yeah. He is, absolutely. He's very inspiring.
He has so many great films. Jaws, E.T., Close Encounter of the Third Kind, you name it, he did it. Mm-hmm. The first one was called Duel. He did that movie, Duel. Oh, yeah.
Duel's amazing. And it was shot on such a low budget as well. It's amazing. You go back and you watch that movie today, it's still great.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it is. Oh, yeah. He's a genius, Spielberg. He also did the Schindler's List, you name it, he did it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, any other, that's a favorite of yours. Are any other favorite films, other particular areas that you like?
Well, I'm a big fan of James Cameron. I loved Aliens. That's one of my all-time favorite films. I feel like you can watch that movie again and again. Of course, this is the sequel to Alien. Great movie. The Fifth Element, that's another really good one. I like stylistic movies like that. Really different. I take a different approach.
Do you like drama? Do you like science fiction? You like horror pictures? Comedy?
Yeah, the sci-fi horror genre is my favorite.
Like, what's that one? I'm trying to think. There was that science fiction one that was a well-known one. I'm trying to think of the name of it now. It's very well-known, very successful. I just can't. Star Wars. That's right, Star Wars. That's the one I'm thinking of. What do you think of that, Star Wars?
Yeah, Star Wars is going to be more science fiction genre. It's not so much horror, but the sci-fi horror, I mean, I'm just trying to run through my head right now what other examples, other than all the Alien films, that's my best example. There was a good Russian horror film I just recently watched. I believe it's called... was it Sputnik? I'm not sure what it was, but there's other ones out there that are great.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of great movies in the past. There were a lot of great movies.
And you know what, Steve, they don't make them like they used to. You know what? Things have really changed. Everything is so CGI driven now. I'm a big fan of old-fashioned visual effects. You just don't see those much anymore.
I see. So you, any real favorite visual effect ones that you can think of right now at the top of your head? Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, Virus, actually. Virus is a good example of a sci-fi horror because it was all done with puppetry. These huge monster, like it was like a robot human hybrid kind of creature, and it was all done with one big puppet. And it's so realistic. And I don't care what, you can make it 8K. It's still CGI, and people know the difference. You know, you can see the difference. And when it's a visual effect, there's just no comparison. At least maybe when we go to 12K or who knows, we start beaming the picture directly into our heads next. I don't know what the future has in stock, but all I know is that as of today, you can clearly see the difference between something that's computer generated and something that's a really good visual effect. And there's visual effects that are cheesy too, don't get me wrong. I mean, the creature from the Black Lagoon, for instance, I mean, you can clearly tell that, you know, it's a blue screen effect and what's going on there. And you've got monster effects that are very cheesy, but that's a great classic film. I'm not trying to harp on it, but you get what I'm saying.
Right. Remember War of the Worlds? Remember something like that? That was quite a good
Yeah.
film.
War of the Worlds was good.
Well, yeah, there's so many of them that there were. Oh yeah. So what up? You know, you did also, besides editing and filmmaking, you also did some voiceover. Can you tell me about your voiceover experiences that you had?
Yeah, definitely.
How did you get into that? And tell me doing a voiceover? What does that involve?
Well, when I was in Burbank, I studied at Aliso Creek Productions with William Williams was the instructor's name, and I took a class in commercial voiceover. And for anyone that's going into it or thinking about it, that's really where most of the work is commercial work. A lot of people think that with voiceover, that animation is where it's at. Well, it's a very close-knit, small community that's getting those kind of gigs. Not everyone's getting those. So, but there's a lot of commercial work out there across all kinds of different platforms that are artists are needed for it. People don't really realize that. But the one claim to fame, and I really haven't been as active as I should be with my voiceover, but it was a pitch video by the producer named Howie Deutsch, and it was a pitch video for the Vacation movie starring Ed Helms and Christina Applegate. I'm sure you probably have seen it.
Sounds familiar,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, it was a reboot of the National Lampoon's Vacation movie. And I was the voice of Rusty in that. And that's my one big claim to fame voiceover credit, if you will.
I see. So how would you say you were successful at doing that? I mean, you said that's your claim to fame. How were you able to get that particular job?
It's all about who you know in the
Connection.
film industry.
Not always how much you know, right? Okay.
Yeah, and that was from a connection that I knew from Toy Box Entertainment. The producer knew that I was actually taking classes, and he said to me, "Hey, do you want to get involved with this video? I think Howie would like you." And he did, and I ended up doing that voice for that pitch video, and the rest was history. But it's all about networking and who you know. And if you try to just go out and turn in your resume here, there, everywhere, you're not going to get much. But then again, there are things like voice123.com that are great sources for just anyone that if you have a resume, you have a reel, you can go and get work that way. I still do those every now and then.
I see.
And those
So
are
just take
mostly
a class,
commercial work.
I guess a class is good. You can learn, but it's not enough. You need to have a resume, a sizzle reel, I guess, and you have to know the right type of people. Like any.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. The class is just the foundation. I mean, being a filmmaker, you always have to be studying your craft and be up to date on what's going on.
I see. Well, are there any projects now, right now or in the future, that you're thinking about doing, whether it be for films or editing or even voiceover work? Any
Sure.
particular ones that you're thinking of?
Yeah, there's a short story that I wrote that I'm trying to get published. It's called Willowdale, and it's the story of a young boy who would go see his grandmother every summer. And on this lake called Willowdale Lake, there is this dragon that lives under the water. And basically, it's a story about how this boy finds this dragon, and that's about it. I mean, but it's a really cool short story. I'll have to send it to you sometime so you can read it.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to see that. That'd be interesting. Okay, so you want to do a
Yeah,
short stories, what you want to do. What do you
yeah.
prefer, short story? You prefer documentaries? You prefer feature films, romantic comedies? Any? You like science fiction? It sounds like. I mean, I guess
Narrative
like
shorts, really. Well, I mean, that short story I was just telling you about, that was just the precipice of what Willowdale will become. Willowdale is eventually going to become a narrative short, more like a pitch to try to get more financing to make it into a feature-length film.
nice.
Yeah, that makes
So you can
sense.
start off with a short story, then you can expand it to a feature. That's right.
Yeah, it's, you know what? It's easier to write a short story than it is to sit down and final draft and start typing it up in script form, at least for beginners. If you're experienced with that, the more power to you. That's great. But trying to get your start, I'd say start with something that's a great short story of yours, and then take that and develop it into a screenplay.
I see. So you do writing. You do your own writing. It sounds
Yes,
like
I
you do.
do.
Oh, I see. So you do your own writing, and then you try to develop something from there. And you do your own film work, I think. And how do you deal with now? You'd like to do independently things. If you're dealing with other actors, let's say you're directing and filming, and it's let's say it's not quite up to the standards of somebody who's under you, you're directing. How do you correct that to meet the standards and to please other people? Have you ever had that experience?
Yeah, I think you have to remind yourself that you're a person just like them, and to not be arrogant and cocky, because nobody likes a dickhead director, you
I
know.
see.
No one likes that. So I think approaching someone on a humane level and trying to connect with them and communicating your ideas face to face. And if it's something you have to reprimand them about, do it behind a closed door. Never yell at someone with other witnesses around. That's just totally unprofessional. And I
That
think
makes
that
sense.
happens quite a bit. I mean, you see these videos of Tom Cruise that just came out. Before that was oh shoot, Christian Bale having these meltdowns on set. Now they're so big they can get away with it, right?
Right.
Somebody like me, if I did that, I'd be history. I'd be blacklisted.
I got you. So in other words, these people are well known, they're successful, and so they can get away pretty much with things that someone else would be different. They would not be able to. I got you.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes sense because they
Yeah.
have more.
And
Right.
I mean, I'm sure their reputation gets hit hard. I mean, you got a lot of people on Twitter commenting on it, and it's in the news, of course. But eventually, it dissipates and goes away, and then they're back making the next huge blockbuster film.
Right. Well, they have that power apparently. So it's a different situation. Somebody's not as well known or successful. So
Right.
you obviously love what you're doing now. Is it? I guess it's a passion of what you're doing. What about? And I'm sure it's lucrative also. But if you love what you're doing, that's success, even if you don't make it big financially. Not everybody is going to hit the big blockbuster and make a hit. What do you think for becoming for a hit maker? You know, in a film, to have a hit film, what do you think it takes to make it
I
successfully?
I think it takes relentless hard work, not giving up. and not giving up on your dreams. It's so easy to give up, especially in filmmaking, because
Right.
you have all the odds stacked against you. And even when things are going well, it's still difficult. So I'd say that you just can't give up.
So dealing with rejection, of course, rejection's, that's always part of it, but you just have to, I guess, like you say, if you really believe in yourself, you got to see yourself doing it and be persistent. That makes a lot of sense, Karl. It does make a lot of sense. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. Apparently, you and your friend Jacob apparently all met at Dimples in the past. Do you want to?
That's right.
You want to talk?
We
about,
did.
Yes,
talk
we
about
did.
Dimples?
Well, I
Great.
mean, you were a legend at Dimples.
Well, thank you, Jacob.
It was an honor. I mean, Karl, I always remember that the first time Karl and I saw you up on stage, and we both said, "That guy's got it, man. That dude rules." Right, Karl?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy from the Gong Show. It's awesome. The guy who won the Gong Show, right?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It was.
I was told,
freaking
I
cool,
was told
man.
I was going to fail. I was told I was going to be a flop and I was going to lose, and I got angry.
Yeah,
and I
well,
said,
they were wrong. They were wrong. Oh, yeah.
They were wrong, and I was invited back quite a few times to do it. It was fun, 10 times, and I had a couple of specials, and all that stuff. You can see it on my website. You know, Johnny Blaze Day of the Hawaii special, like Elvis and the Beatles, and it was hugging, kissing, screaming, lips in the face, cheering the blood.
Was it crazy?
And that's all on johnnyblaze.com if you want to see those videos, and amongst other things that I have done, of course. So, and now we've got this show. Now we have this show going, this talk show right here on Zoom, where it's a forum for people to express themselves. Right now with the pandemic, people are restless and they're bored.
Yeah.
And it's a captive audience, and we can't do the things that we took for granted right now. The bars and the, restaurants and all that. So
Dimples would be dead right now. Well, they are.
Well, Dimples was unique. I mean, you're talking about Dimples was right there in the show business area. Warner Brothers. You had the Disney.
I know.
You had a Disney studio, the Disney Channel. You had Dick Clark Productions, Warner Brothers. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of celebrities came in there. A lot of celebrities did come in there, as you know.
Yeah. And now it's a Whole Foods.
Right. I met Dennis Haskins there. Mr. Belding, Saved by the Bell, was in my documentary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was cross with me at one point. He wasn't happy with me. Yeah. I think that he saw me as a Zach from Saved by the Bell kind of character.
Oh, that's unfortunate because I thought he was a hell of a nice guy. I don't know why that you guys had a.
Oh no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He was great. He was great.
Everything always a great showman, great, nice, decent person all the way around. Really great guy.
Great guy.
Anyway, I met Jimmy Kimmel there too, and
did you really?
Quite a few other celebrities that came in. Britney Spears. Oh yeah, I didn't meet these other people, but I know they came in. And you had a lot of memorabilia over there at Dimples too.
Yeah.
There was a guy that's unfortunately passed, was Dick Klein. Dick Klein.
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Klein used to come in with show business stories and everything. He represented people like James Brown and the Flames and ABBA, amongst any other groups. He also did a documentary on the Presley family. Unfortunately, he just passed. He was a wonderful friend of mine, Dick Klein. And of course, Sal Ferraro is a good friend of mine, the owner. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The owner of Dimples, Sal Ferraro. Oh, yeah. And then it was a happy atmosphere. They would have birthdays. Remember where they have birthdays?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd sing that song, "You Piss Me Off, You Jerk, You Get On My Nerves." Remember that song?
Yeah.
They come in with the birthdays, and they have the whipped cream and everything. And the girl would have the garter belt come off her head. And it was a fun.
It was a
very fun
classic
place.
bar. It was a cool, classic old bar that didn't care how fancy things around it were getting. It was interesting. It was cool. It was dirty. It was seedy. It was
agree.
awesome. And
Jacob, it was one of a kind.
Yeah, it was one of a kind. It was so awesome, and it's such a.
It's unforgettable. Oh,
yeah,
it is unforgettable. And I have a lot of. He used to give away. Sal Ferraro used to give away these computerized pictures with photos for people. Then he used to give away DVDs of your performance too.
I have a drawer full of those DVDs upstairs. I thought, you don't always the bar atmosphere was really amazing, but then clearly the owner, Sal, he cared. That was what he curated. It was his environment. It was his place, and he would come up to you after a rousing performance, and he would say, "Here's a DVD of what you just did." That doesn't exist anywhere in Hollywood, and it never has, and it never will. It's gone, and
right.
that's sad.
You're definitely right, Jacob. Oh yeah, it was just a happy, fun atmosphere the time, and a lot of beautiful women there having fun. Everybody was having a good time.
There were lots of lovely ladies.
That's what I always insist that my friends and fans all have a blazing hot fun time, of course. There you go. Right. So wow. I have a lot of DVDs too on my website on johnnyblaze.com from Dimples. Yeah, that I do. So.
What was your favorite song you ever sang there?
God, I know there's so many of them. I used to like Blue Suede Shoes of Elvis.
Did you ever use the props? Did you ever use the cool stuff that the Viking hat or anything else that they had?
Yeah, actually, I had a lady by the name of Amber Stefanelli. She's now married to Eric Johnson. He met his wife there. Her and I sang the song. I write the songs with Barry Manilow, and she put the hats on my head when I was singing. So that was kind of fun.
Cool.
I just interviewed Eric. In fact, in one of my previous episodes, I interviewed Eric Johnson.
Nice.
And we were talking about Dimples also. That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, special place.
I'm glad that you really enjoyed it. And what about you? Now, how about you? Get back to Karl. What are your thoughts about Dimples?
Yeah. Karl? I'm still here. Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Good. Yeah, Dimples is amazing. I mean, Jake and I, we would go there and you kind of just disappear into the atmosphere there. And I too have a few DVDs laying around. They're so old. They probably got an inch of dust on them of my karaoke moments at Dimples.
I remember them well.
Yeah. But what more is there to say?
No, we were roommates. Over there. No, we found it. Oh. How did we find it? We lived less than a mile down the road. And so I think one night in a search for a place that was open, we found it and we walked in, and I think you were there. And we were like, where did we just show up to? This is new. Because, it's very different from everything else you find in Los Angeles. So it was that became a weekly, we were there every week. And it was just a blazing hot fun time like we're having right now.
That's true. Oh yeah. You know how Sal came up with the name Dimples? You guys both know how he came up with it, don't you?
No.
Shirley Temple had a movie called Dimples, and that's how he came up with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, apparently he went to a party, and I guess he saw a singing machine, and he decided, yeah, why not? This would be a great business, and he decided to do it. He was there 33 years, Sal. Unfortunately, though, he didn't own the land. He was leasing it, renting it. So Whole Foods and 300 condos ended up taking over, and the last year was 2015, and it's been out ever since, right? So I don't think you're never gonna find another place like that. You don't realize about something, maybe taking it for granted until you don't have it anymore. That's for sure. And Dick Kleiner used to tell me, to say, well, enjoy it while you can. He was right. He was totally right. So you never take nothing for granted, because every day you're above the earth is a blessing. You can be here today and gone tomorrow. So my philosophy, live each day as if it was your last. You never know when your last can come about. And, go for your dreams and take your vacations. Have as full a life as possible. And that way you have no regrets. You can say you did it your ways. and that's it. So you enjoy yourself. One thing, all the money in the world does not mean a thing if you don't have your health. That's for
True.
sure. And everybody ends up in the same place, whether they're rich or poor. They end up in the same place. So that's important. So what about you, Jacob? What do you do with yourself now? You're in Arizona, and what do you? Anything that you're doing right now, in particular?
Yeah. So
pandemic.
Well, everything's boring in the pandemic, but I was. Let me see here. I'm actually trying to get a cool photo here as my virtual background. I was in a bunch of bands. I played guitar in a bunch of bands. Toured around the country.
What kind of guitar do you play? Do you play lead guitar or rhythm guitar? Or
I mostly played rhythm guitar, elemental guitar with keyboard. So a lot of layer stuff. I was never really good at lead guitar. I'm not, I don't know. Maybe I'm not smart enough for lead guitar, but it was never my thing. But I was really good at rhythm guitar and songwriting. And so that's what I did. And I wrote a bunch of songs for a bunch of people in Hollywood in my 20s, and then decided that I wanted to have I met my now wife, who's actually taking apart car seats in the room right over there. And we decided we wanted to have a family, and living in Los Angeles was not really ideal for that. So we left, and I'm a web developer. So I build software stuff. And in my spare time, I like to hunt and fish and, get outside.
Great. You have quite a few variety of different talents and hobbies. That's great. That's excellent.
I try. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. It's, guitars are hanging up on the wall, and they haven't been touched in a while. But we have 2 little boys. And they like it when I have a ukulele right over here. They like it when Daddy plays the ukulele. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
What about your wife? What does she do? And how did you 2 meet? Did you say
so my wife and I met online, actually. One of our first dates was at Dimples.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I've got a photo of it that I'm trying to pull up right now. We met online. Our first official date was at Karl and I's apartment in Burbank. We had a townhouse in Burbank, right, Karl?
Yep.
Casa de Bachelor.
And, missed those days.
Yeah, they were fantastic days. And so we started going to Dimples together. And once I found out my wife could handle karaoke, I decided it is time to marry her. So
how about that? That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. What does your wife do now? Does she work or housewife?
At this point, she does a lot of being mom, which is awesome. She's the best mom in the world, and she used to work for I don't want to name it, but one of the world's largest hotel chains, as a sales coordinator for large group sales, and COVID-19 happened, and the hospitality business is dead, essentially.
Okay.
So now she actually works for the company that I work for, and she handles a lot of our, social media. She handles a lot of project management, things like that. So but most of all, she's shaping some incredible lives. 2 little boys who are the best things in the world.
That's great. You have a well-rounded family, it sounds like. Very interesting, excellent family. Everybody does their thing. And I'm glad you're happy and flourishing. How about now, get back to Karl. What about you with your wife, Karl? Excuse me.
Yeah. I have an interesting story of how I met my wife.
Tell me about your wife.
Yeah, she's from Russia.
Okay.
And I actually met her online about 3 years ago, and I went to go visit her and meet her for the first time in Moscow. And then we took some amazing trips together, because trying to get a visitor's visa to come to the United States was pretty tough. So we had some trips like the second trip we had was to Spain. We went to Barcelona. We went to northern Spain to Baquera. that was really beautiful. Then we had a trip to Thailand, trip to Mexico, and then she got her K1 fiance visa and came to the United States, and we married within the 90 days. I was pushing to get on that show, the 90-day fiance visa, but she didn't want to do it. So I had to respect her wishes. And we ended up not doing that. But
So she's from Russia, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And you've been married for about 3 years now? Okay, well, fantastic.
Married 1 year. We
What
dated for 2 years, married for 1 year.
I see. And what does she do now? Does she stay home, or is she a housewife, or does she do anything at work? Or
Yeah, she actually does live broadcasts on an app called UpLive. And basically she will mix music live, and she has a DJ rig. That's what she likes to do. She's a DJ and also a makeup artist. And when she's doing the live mixing, she has sometimes 4,000 or 5,000 people actually watching her, and they donate to her. And then she also gets paid bonuses based off of how much time she puts into it.
So she does makeup and DJ work. Wow, she's
Yeah.
very, very talented, and it sounds like she's well-rounded, very versatile, and
She is.
very experienced. That's great. That's great. Glad you guys are working out.
Thank you.
Like the Russians, same Russians rushing to get here. I'm joking. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, there's
I see
the
a picture
photo.
of Dimples there.
Yeah.
How about that? Isn't that neat?
Me and my wife and
Dennis Haskins,
there he is,
Mr. Belding, my friend.
Mr. Belding.
Yeah. There's a few other
was
people
great.
too.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
well, yeah. This is Danielle
yeah.
here. This is Magnia. I have no idea
that?
who this is at all.
Who is that?
I don't know. But that was one of the nights we had.
That's really great. Dennis is in my movie. If you ever seen my movie, if you haven't seen it, you can always.
You know what? I was watching it before we got on. It's fantastic.
Gone but Not Forgotten, the original John Boy story. Great.
Yep. I was watching it on Amazon Prime before we got on.
Excellent. Well,
Yep.
watch it when you finish it when you can, when you're not so busy, and if you like it, write something nice on Amazon.
I think
about
I
it.
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are you in LA, Johnny?
I'm over here, and I'm in the San Fernando Valley right now, Northridge. That's where I'm at.
Northridge. Okay,
Right.
and you've been there for a while?
Yeah, a little while. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, well, I lived in before that. I lived in growing up in Arleta, and then when we moved to Panorama City. From Panorama City, my mom, when she passed, we sold a house, my sister and I, and I'm with my sister now in Northridge. So that's cool.
I'm sorry about your mother.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to share that with, I don't know if Karl's seen it yet or anybody else, you're welcome to the movie.
Gone but not forgotten. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
The original
From
Johnny
what
Depp.
I've seen so far, yeah.
Fantastic.
I have watched it. It's great. I really enjoyed it.
Great, Karl. I'm glad you did. And yeah, you want to write something nice, you get a chance on the Amazon, little,
I'll definitely do that for sure. It's the least I can do.
How did you get hooked up with? It's very well produced. So how did that happen? The whole movie.
Well, that movie.
Yeah.
It's basically because Dimples was part of it. I mean, there's a bartender there who decided. He asked me if I wanted to do it. His name is Josh Wagner. I don't know if you remember him.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
He asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said no at first. Then I decided to change my mind, decided to do it. It took a while. It took about 6 years to complete the movie.
Wow, really?
And I had to be very persistent because he was busy doing other things. He wasn't always available. So I had to be real persistent. And eventually, I had my premiere in 2016 at the Downtown Independent Movie Theater. That's where it was held at.
Wow.
And, a lot of people, they came and they enjoyed it and invited them. And it was cool. It's too bad I had thought too late about George Panaccio. He asked me how come I didn't let him know then, because he's a news guy.
Right.
I didn't think of it at the time, or else he would have definitely. I would have thought of it. I invited Jimmy Kimmel, but he didn't show. But we did have quite a few. We had quite a few people there. It was was fun. Thank goodness it wasn't now because of the pandemic, but we were able to get a lot of people. And so I'm really, I'm glad that I did that. And now that because of, I never heard of Zoom before, but because of this pandemic now, this is the way, people are stuck right now at home and they're bored, and we have a captive audience. And one thing's right about the internet, it's all over. Like, you're in Arizona, Karl, you're in Florida, we can do this all over. Yeah. If you had to film in person, you wouldn't be able to.
You'd have to have a crazy budget where you'd have to fly somebody in from Florida or wherever to come in and do your show. Right. And how cool is it that, I think it's easy to get caught up in how much this sucks, because it does. Pandemic is not fun.
Well,
but it is amazing.
Kimmel, yeah, that's true. It sucks. Even the professional shows like Jimmy Kimmel, he does his show. He's not doing it in the studio right now.
At home.
A lot of them are not in the studio; they're doing it from home. Or Jimmy Fallon. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So this is it's a great opportunity, and having a good time with it. Reaching out to people like yourself. This is a great forum for people to express themselves. Whether in entertainment, if they do singing or they want to dance or stand-up comedy or magic or they have a band or they say they produce or direct movies, or let's say they do ventriloquism or magic, whatever.
How long have you been doing this show?
This is my 6th episode so far.
Who's the most? And obviously, Karl, I'm not interesting, and Karl is more interesting than me. But
no, I'm not.
The most interesting person that you've met so far, in your opinion, not in popular opinion. Who do you like? Like who's most interesting to you so far?
I've enjoyed all of them. I did find one of them I found her to be very fascinating and interesting. I put it on Facebook and on YouTube. In fact, this episode is going to be on Facebook and YouTube also. Oh, we do that. My producer puts it on for all the episodes. Her name is Ellen Gerstein. She's an actress, a producer, a director, a writer, and a comedian. Cool. That's my episode 4. And so you can check that out, when you get a chance. Definitely. But I've had some other interesting ones too. Eric Johnson from Dimples, the music producer, and songwriter, and I met him at Dimples. He was a DJ over there.
Be cool to get Sal on here.
Is Sal still around? Sal's still around. I talked to Sal quite a bit. Oh yeah,
that'd be a fun interview.
Well, Sal was last on Bar Rescue. That's what he was on.
Oh, okay.
Remember Bar Rescue?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With that really tall guy.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that.
Yeah,
was that before? When was that?
That was Bar Rescue. Let's see. This is it might have been let's see. He went out and last year was 2015, so it must have been before that.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because we were there. I think we started going in 2013. No, 2014, Karl. Right through 2015.
Yeah, that's
right. So it would have been somewhere before then. But I think
you remember what happened at Bar Rescue. Do you remember Bar Rescue? They were trying to go into the bar, investigating what's going on, how the workings of the bar, and the problems that they had. Remember? And then they took out a lot of Sal's memorabilia. He didn't like it too much. He ended up putting everything back.
Yeah.
And my friend, I don't know if you remember the chef, Roberto was there. Remember the chef?
I do remember Roberto. And I think that John, I think his name is John, the guy from Bar Rescue, is totally wrong. That bar was perfect the way it was, and they should have left it alone. But, Sal had a vision, and I'm sad that it's gone.
I happen to agree with you. There'll never be anything like it again. He's talked about trying to find another bar, but it's always expensive and it's not easy. And now he's better off not having a bar because this pandemic. A lot of them, they can't make it. Bars are not survive it. Oh yeah.
We got to figure out a way to get booze through the webcam so that we can have virtual bars. So they can just go, here you go. Here's a beer. We got to figure that out. Some kind of Star Trek convention.
I'm enjoying talking to all you guys. What do you guys? I'll ask you, and Jacob, then I'll ask Karl. What do you guys see yourself going forward? Any ideas of things that you want to do? Any dreams that you want to do for the future? You first of all, Jacob, and then I'll ask Karl.
Yeah, for me, I am constantly working on really exciting very cool web applications and applications in general, you know, and I see that world as kind of blossoming at the moment. I think that there's a lot of room for opportunity. I think a lot of people have a lot of ideas, and some of those ideas are bad and some of them are really, really good. And I'm excited to work with some of the people who have really, really good ideas. The other thing I'm looking forward to doing is I think we're going to record a ukulele Christmas album, which will be fun. We're going to call it Ukulele. Yep. Yeah. And other than that, I'm just looking forward to teaching my boys how to hunt and fish and all that good stuff. So that's my life.
Sounds great, Jacob. And how about you, Karl?
Well, Karl? I would love to see that short story that I wrote, Willowdale, really become a feature film. I think that would be pretty special, and it could be pretty successful. Another one that I've been working on is called The Jersey Devil, and it's about the cryptozoological creature, the Jersey Devil. And it's a horror piece that I have in final draft, and I've written it. It needs to be more polished, but there's all kinds of great stories you can tell about these creatures, these cryptids out there. So I would just love to see at least one film have a feature release, independent. I'm not expecting anything big. And it's not all about the money either. It's about seeing your art come to life, like you were talking about earlier. You know, it's not always about money. It's about saying you did it and you tried your hardest and produced something that you're proud of. So,
yeah. Well, it sounds like you're on the right track. You're definitely on the right track, Karl, and Jacob, also, both of you. I've really enjoyed talking to both of you. You're very interesting, and you're doing quite a few things, and I'm glad things are going well for both of you. That's for sure.
Thanks. You too.
So I do want to thank you, Jacob, and of course Karl, both. Thank both of my guests. I do want to say to everybody, ladies and gentlemen out there, I have check it out tomorrow on Sunday morning, January the 10th. There's a show called Sticky Doll. Look it up on the computer and just type in an STICKY and then doll, DOLL. If you type that in, it's going to be a Sticky Doll Band, and that's the name of the show. It's going to be, there's a couple of people that host it and everything, and I'll be on, even though the show starts at 11, I'll be on at 11:20 in the morning. And so I've got to do a celebrity call-in type of show where I promote myself first, and then I do a celebrity impersonation second. So that's going to be on tomorrow morning. So be sure to watch for that. And hopefully, you'll have a blazing hot fun time with that. Tell everybody, your friends and family about it to tune in. So check it out. And then I want to say, till next time, always keep a smile on your face and a song in your heart. And happy trails, and blaze out.
Thank you, Steve.
Again.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Steve.
Ladies and gentlemen, anyone who wants to promote themselves on a Zoom talk show, feel free to send us an email at theamazingoriginalJBshow@gmail.com. The Amazing Original Johnny Blaze has just left the building.